Hi, I am Professor Amitabh Banerjee. I have been an epidemiologist in the armed forces, and I have been a professor for many years in a private medical school. Presently, I am Professor Emeritus. So I was just seeing the figures, some comparative figures of we are having so many alerts. We are having alerts of disease X. We had an alert of Nipah virus some months back, so last year, I think. We had an alert of monkeypox. Presently, we are having an alert of bird flu. There have been, since last 1 year, there have been 70 cases of H5N1, that is H5N1 influenza, which is the bird flu, which is the alert presently for a pandemic potential. And there have been 70 cases in USA and one death in 1 year. And we are on an alert. Vaccines are already ready for bird flu in America, for poultry and for humans also. Some number of doses are ready, but it has been put on halt for the time being by the CDC and FDA in USA. Everything, all the signals come from the USA. Uh, if they say this is a pandemic, the whole world follows. So I was just saying that we are having our own major public health problems. And I was just a few months back, I was surprised to see the data on a major problem which we are having day in and day out. That is rabies. Rabies is a viral infection. It affects the brain, encephalitis, and which has got 100% fatality, 100% mortality. And the death is very painful. The person is alert throughout and is in severe pain, severe anxiety, and 100% mortality. And I was surprised to see the statistics in India. Every year, it is estimated 20,000 people die from rabies. 20,000 people die from rabies. This is a WHO estimate. You can do the Google search. Rabies deaths in India, WHO, 20,000. Imagine 20,000 deaths. And we are worried about so many other, of course, any death. But this rabies death is very painful, and it is, we are living with it day in and day out. And if you go for morning walk, evening walk, you find in our country maximum number of stray dogs. Just to give you a brief epidemiology of rabies to understand the dynamics, how the rabies is transmitted and what we can do to control it. Rabies is a zoonosis. Zoonosis means the animal disease which spills into humans accidentally. All mammals, all warm-blooded animals can get infected with the rabies virus, and the reservoir, there is a wildlife rabies, which is very rare. You cannot eliminate it. Wildlife rabies, they are wild animals who carry the virus. They keep attacking, biting each other and transmitting rabies. The saliva has got a large concentration of the virus, those animals which are infected. And jackals, again, wild, and some interaction with these urban dogs, domesticated dogs. They fight for food, fight for bone. There is an interface between the wildlife and the dogs, which frequent our domestic areas, domesticated areas, or urban areas, urban rabies and the wildlife rabies. There are Sylvan rabies, that is the wildlife, and then the urban rabies, which is where the actual humans are concerned. And that is by the dogs, mostly the stray dogs. And the children are very vulnerable, 1 to 15 years of age, or anyone can be bitten by a stray dog, which is rabid. And the first aid is very important after bitten by a stray, any dog, any animal bite. The most important thing is washing the wound, washing under tap water, flushing it with soap and water, flushing it for at least 15 minutes. I- Immediately, immediately 15 minutes flushing minimum, it will eliminate 80% of the virus. It will give 80% protection. And depending on the site, number of bites, it is classified as class 1, class 2, and class 3. Exposure can be classified. If it's just a leak on a unbroken skin, it is class 1. If it is on a mucous surface or on a cut leak, then it becomes class 2. If number of bites 2, 3 or more on the face, on the hands, it becomes a severe exposure, class 3. The nearer it is to the face, the nearer the chances of getting rabies increases, because the main problem of rabies is the virus attaches to the nerves. First, it attaches to the peripheral nerves, and through the nerve tissues, it ascends to the brain. So once it attaches to the nerve, it is very irreversible. It travels up. So the immediate treatment is very important. As I said, firstly, washing and the local wound. You have to give the local immediate medical attention is required. You have to inject locally immunoglobulin. That is the ready-made antiviral immunoglobulins locally. And depending on the class of bite, you have to start the post-exposure. After the exposure, you have to start the post-exposure vaccination, immunization. With the rabies, nowadays the vaccines are quite less toxic, I would say. Earlier, the vaccines were produced from the brain tissue of the mouse, so it had more reactions. Now the vaccines are prepared on cell cultures, human cell cultures or chick embryo cell cultures or animal cell culture. So these cell culture vaccines are more purified and they are much less reaction. And besides the intramuscular, earlier it was given large dose. The simple vaccine or mouse-based vaccine, 14 injections were there and 5 ml under the skin. It used to be quite painful and the side effects were more. Nowadays, the 1 ml, 0.5 ml cell culture vaccines or chick embryo vaccines. So the dose is less, and now there is another regime which is intradermal also. So you have to immediately report to a proper medical center any bite by unprovoked bite by a wild animal. The very fact that we are having 20,000 deaths every year shows many people are not getting the treatment in time, particularly rural areas. Their health facilities are not there, health centers are not there. Imagine 20,000 people dying, painful death, young people dying every year, and we are not able to have good health centers where the anti-rabies treatment are immediately available, number one. Number two, what about the control of the stray dogs? You see, when we had a recent pandemic, there are people who are not at risk. In the open area, they are wearing masks, so are afraid. People are afraid to come near the other people who is coughing, thinking that it's an existential crisis. And when we are having 100% mortality, the pandemic mortality from respiratory virus was less than 0.1% in a healthy person. Here, the mortality is 100%. And we are feeding the stray dogs. If you see, there are many dog lovers who feed the stray. It's good. One should be kind to animals. I am nothing against it, but one should be careful of a disease, rabies, which is 100% fatal. Where is the fear about it? No fear. I don't see any fear when I see people feeding the dogs, stray dogs. There have been instances where the stray dogs have mauled young children. Forget about rabies. And the statistics is looking us in the eyes, is staring us in the face. If it is really projected, nobody is projecting that. The media is not saying that every year we lose 20,000, 100% fatality. Vaccine is available. Dogs can be vaccinated. Why we are not vaccinating the stray dogs? If we vaccinate 80 to 90% of the stray dogs, we can eliminate rabies, or we can control it. We will prevent 20,000 deaths every year. Where is the will? Where is the political will? Here we were vaccinating everyone during the pandemic, even the people who have recovered from infection, even people who have zero chance of mortality. Here we are not even vaccinating the dogs. So I just wanted to just see how distorted our perceptions are, or perspectives are, or priorities are. 20,000 deaths every year. We are so much desensitized. We are just moving among the dogs, not doing anything about it. Stray dogs. Nipah in the jungle, we are afraid. We close down the schools, we use orders. Disease X, we are waiting. But here, 20,000, we are not afraid. So I just wanted to bring to the notice how the mass psychology plays a part. A very innocuous thing, very innocent thing can be psyched, and a real danger. We are facing real danger every day. We are not afraid. We don't think about it. So that's all today. Thank you.